guys, it's Allison here, and I'm getting ready to do my layout for day 25. And I just put day number 24's layout into this album, which is my Warner Brothers Studio Tour album. And it's getting really full. So here, it doesn't sit flat anymore. So it's time to move some of these layouts into, I have a second album that matches. But first I thought I would just do a little bit of a walkthrough, show you what I have so far. So this is a layout I did not do for this load. This is my title page. And then I've got Cupboard Under the Stairs. Again, these are before I started doing the load challenge. The Grand Entrance. The Great Hall, and then these ones you've seen throughout load. So here they are in order from sort of how I remember the walk through the tour. So not in order of how I've scrapbooked them or how they are throughout load. So we've got the Yule Ball, What's Your Password, which is like the switching stairs and the Portrait of the Fat Lady that the Gryffindors have to give the password to get into their common room. And then I've got space there for, I believe today's layout is going to go here. It's about Harry's invisibility cloak. And then I've got the clock, Dumbledore's office, a little bit about all the wands, which can move around. It's not necessarily needs to be here. Just add more dirt, which I think was the very first layout I made for this load. A fun photo that we had taken, trying out their magic on their brooms. Hagrid's hut. Umbridge. So in between a Hagrid's hut and Umbridge, there's quite a few stories I need to tell. The Dark Forest. That was yesterday's. So just before, this was actually on platform 9 3/4, but before we went and explored the train. And then these displays are actually sort of right in this area here. And then on the platform, I have more pictures of the train and being on the train as well that I need to scrapbook. And then I've got Diagon Alley, so I think I might have things out of order. I'm not sure, but this was actually not in Diagon Alley, but I kind of wanted to keep it with all the other ones from Diagon Alley because it's, you know, to get to Diagon Alley you have to go through the Leaky Cauldron. So anyways, Gringotts. There's my Diagon Alley spread, and then the one on the Weasley's Wheezes. That's hard to say. And then, yeah, these are definitely out of order. So the back lot came before Diagon Alley. So anyways, the Night Bus, the Dursley's house and the Potter house, and then there's more from the back lot. The models they built in order to build the big giant model of Hogwarts, which is what I have here. And then at the end, when we had our snack in the cafe and they were pretending to hex me with their new wands, and the butterbeer, that was at the very end of, this was at the end of our trip, and because of the story that went with it, I want to keep it at the end of the book. However, you got butterbeer in the middle of the exhibition because you can see through the windows there. That's the back lot where number 4 Privet Drive is. So it makes sense to my story, not the exhibit. Okay, so now I need to figure out where I'm going to cut the story in half, and I think I will probably do it. Probably do it at the platform 9 3/4. So for now, I'm just going to take all of these and put them in a new album. and then I can continue on with my layout for today. Okay, I've got my photos chosen and I've got a few papers in place. I have punched out some more lightning bolts because this layout deals specifically with Harry. And then I've got a few additional papers and things to add on. I want to bring in some green, so I was looking at maybe that for journaling. But I've also got some green on this that I could cut out, and then a few other scraps. And I brought in some green washi tape. So I will just start to play and see how we go. Alright, so while I'm getting my papers prepped, I thought I would just fill you in on what the adventure was for today. And there was 3 different adventures. The first 2 didn't really speak to me, but the last one did. It says create a layout that has some optical element in it, like a magnifying glass, glasses, camera, microscope, telescope, etc. And I knew that I had this scrap of paper, the black and white paper at the very bottom there with all the eyeglasses on it. I had that left over from a kit that I had made for a class over at Shamel.com called Clear the Desk. And so I thought, it's perfect, I can bring it in, and that's one less thing on my desk. And it completely relates to the layout itself because we are talking about Harry and his cloak of invisibility, and we all know that Harry was famous for his glasses. So that was the reasoning for that. And then the other papers that I brought in, I'm trying to relate the colors on this layout to the colors in the layout about the Gryffindor common room. So the wood grain strip was left over from that layout, as was the heart print. And then the yellow is from a different layout, but there was yellow on the other, on the double page spread about Gryffindor as well. So I've got my main pieces in, and you'll probably notice that I left the branding strip on that green scrap. It wasn't going to show anyways, so I thought I'll just save myself a little bit of time and leave it on there. And now I'm trying to position all the little bits and pieces I have. And I really like this one that says Save the World or Saving the World or something like that, but I'm having a hard time with the pink. So I try and bring some more pink onto the layout, and it's just not speaking to me. So I put them both aside. And I figure I will actually try and bring in more green because the inside of that cloak is green. And that's all part of the magic of television, of filmmaking. That's how they make it invisible, I guess. So I am now subscribing to Shamel's sort of notion of more is more. And since I was having trouble relating all the little green, the 2 little journaling cards that I had already cut apart, I was having trouble relating those green tones to the brighter green that I have down at the bottom and that awesome word that I cut out. And I thought the best way to deal with it is just to bring in more green. And I figure the more green you have on your layout, the more it just looks like it was meant to be. All these different tones work together in nature, so I will make them work on my layout. So I go looking for a lot of different scraps, and I went to my 6x6 paper pads and I pulled out the feather print from Little by Little, and then that sort of multicolored, multi-image print that's just above the photos there, and that's from Glitter Girl. And I chopped it so that I have the sort of yellow to greenish blue section, and then the way I've tucked it in there, the glasses and then the word magic underneath glasses, which happen to be in green, show up. So that relates to my prompt as well, and also to Harry. So it all worked out. So now I'm just getting everything in. And since we are going with a more is more philosophy, I am just going to start piling on the bits and pieces. And I don't do this very often. I actually have a hard time putting more is more on there because I get to a certain sort of saturation point. But I just went for it this time. And then those feathers I tried to get on another layout that didn't work, so I'm determined to get them on this one. And I end up putting 1 yellow and 1 blue feather in a couple of places. And then I've got my lightning bolts and, oh, that arrow that says, I think, love this. I like bringing that wood grain into more areas. That dimensional piece that I just put at the top is, ooh, who makes that? I can't remember who makes that. Might be My Mind's Eye. One of those types of companies. And I just found it when I was digging through my stash, and the colors work, and it says adventure. So I thought, sure, more is more. Bring it on. So now I'm trying to find places for my little lightning bolts, and I have popped them up with some foam squares. And I've got a few little stickers from the Glitter Girl sticker sheet, the sticker pad, whatever. And I'm just trying to fit those in as well. And I looked at all the other bits that I had pulled out. I had some more Little by Little and some Starshine, and they weren't really speaking to me anymore, so I put them aside. Now I'm working on my title. And I kind of want the title to be hard to read. I sort of feel like that works with what I'm talking about, which is the Cloak of Invisibility. So I'm spelling out Cloak of in those glittery sort of lime green stickers, and then I'm going to use these round sort of typewriter key stickers from Little by Little to spell out invisibility. And then I realize I need one more I, and I don't have it. So I contemplate taking a letter that I would never use, or hardly ever use, but like a Z, and cutting out a letter I and sticking it on top. And then I realize that I can actually take a J and sort of use my black pen to scrub off the bottom of the J, and then use my white pen to draw a line like an I. And yeah, you can sort of tell that it's wasn't originally an I, but it works. It's a great little tip for you there. So forced to adapt, I guess, is the best way to put that. Okay, so now I'm getting my journaling in, and I don't have a ton of things to say about this, but I do want to talk about how cool it was to see the cloak, and it really does look magical in person, and I like how they've made the inside green, and that's how they make him invisible when he's wearing the cloak. And then just adding those some stickers in, just trying to find places for them. And then I think that my feathers there are in the wrong spot, and I really want to A, give them a bit more prominence, and B, camouflage that big block of striped green. It was taking over a little bit. So I figure having the feathers and then that lightning bolt on top help to minimize it. But you can still, you know, see the pattern there and everything. And then I pull out my set of chipboard stars from Studio Calico, and I put every single green one that was on the page on my page. And then I pull out the little enamel dot set from Glitter Girl, and I actually haven't used any of them. I've used some of the self-adhesive gold sequins, but not any of the enamel dots. So I get both colors of green on there and the red ones. And that's it. Layout done. So yes, definitely there is more on this layout than on most of my layouts, but it's kind of fun. You know, every now and then you just got to make a layout where you just pile the stuff on and have fun with it. Oh, and after the camera stopped rolling, I grabbed the layout to go and take photos of it, and I was like, you know what this needs? This needs gold mist. So I put some gold mist on there, and you'll see that in some of these close-ups. All right, I hope you enjoyed this More is More layout, and I will see you again tomorrow with another one. Thanks. Bye-bye.